NATO has not been standing still. On the contrary, it has reformed, reshaped, and reaffirmed itself so it is every bit as relevant today as it was 75 years ago, if not more so.
President Putin and President Xi are adamantly opposed to NATO because they know that in NATO, the United States has something they don't have. 31 friends and allies, which help to advance US interests, multiply US power, and keep Americans safe. Alone, the United States represents a quarter of the world economy. But together with NATO allies, we represent half of the world's economic might and half of the world's military might. So together, we are much stronger.
NATO's crucial role as part of US defense, our role in the transatlantic alliance has been so important to US success there.
If you look at opinion polls and if you look at actually the parliaments that are elected across this alliance, there is overwhelming support to Ukraine. And that's also the reason why we are able to continue to step up both in the United States, but not least in Europe. European allies are now matching what the US is doing when it comes to military aid, and if you put the humanitarian and economic aid on top, European allies are actually providing significantly more. NATO is a defensive alliance, and it's absolutely wrong, this idea that Ukraine was a threat to Russia. Ukraine has never been a threat to Russia. The whole thing started with Russia annexing Crimea back in 2014, after Russia actually signed different documents, agreements, after the end of the Cold War, recognizing Ukraine as a sovereign independent state, including the Budapest Memorandum, where Ukraine gave up its nuclear weapons. Ukraine was actually one of the largest nuclear powers in the world after the end of the Soviet Union. They agreed to give up all those weapons. In return, Russia recognized Ukraine within its international recognized borders. Then they annexed Crimea. Then a few months later, they went into Eastern Donbass. Then we had the Minsk I agreement. They violated that, and they pushed the border even further west. We had the Minsk II agreement, and then they waited for 7 years, and then they launched a full-scale invasion. When the fighting ends in Ukraine, we need assurances that this is the end. It stops here. And to ensure that, we need to build the future Ukrainian armed forces so they can help to deter future Russian aggression. But we need also security guarantees. And the ultimate security guarantee is Article 5 NATO. So in that sense, NATO membership will also help to ensure that the war really ends, that Ukraine can prevail. A strong NATO is in the vital national interest of the United States. This was true 75 years ago. It is true today and will continue to be the case in the future.